A new report by Representative Barry Loudermilk on his investigation into the January 6th Select Committee shows that they are completely discredited. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Unwoke Thoughts. Now let's take a look at this report by Representative Loudermilk, who went into kind of a deep dive into this J6 committee, and they found some very interesting things, including the committee shared recordings with Fani Willis, and then they deleted the video to prevent Republicans from gaining access to it. Yeah. And then just remember, Liz Cheney, a Republican, was part of this J6 committee. But I think one of the most glaring examples of the fact that they lied is this right here, guys. Do you remember this individual, this lady, who said that Donald Trump lunged at the steering wheel of the limo and tried to take control of the limo and then lunged at the limo driver? But guys, listen to this. This is kind of a flashback. This was Cassidy Hutchinson when she said that Donald Trump lunged and tried to take control of the limo.
Very angry response to that. Tony described him as being irate. The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol." Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel. And when Mr. Ornato had recounted this story to me, he had motioned towards his clavicles.
And was Mr. Engel in the room as Mr. Ornato told you this story?
He was.
But according to a testimony by the actual driver that was recently unearthed by Senator Barry Loudermilk in his investigation, it seems to be that this was all a bold-faced lie. Or is it bald-faced lie? Guys, I don't know. Sometimes I forget these terms. I don't know. But I remember when I first heard about this theory or this idea that Donald Trump somehow lunged and tried to take control of the limo and said all these things. I was like, that doesn't even make sense. I can't even see that happening. My BS meter was going off. And this was even before I followed news really closely like I do now. I was like, there's no way that's true. Donald Trump lunged at this steering wheel, tried to take control of over the limo, and got into this altercation with the limo driver. What? No, I don't believe that at all. But the mainstream media outlets absolutely loved this dramatic story, and they never even questioned it. Instead, they posted all sorts of headlines about this, highlighting what had supposedly happened that was just very fishy. But they said stuff like, former Meadows aide Trump lunged at Secret Service agent, tried to grab steering wheel on January the 6th. Aide testifies she was told Trump lunged at Secret Service and steering wheel when told he couldn't go to Capitol. I mean, guys, I guess you can give them the benefit of the doubt. She did testify that, but I don't recall seeing them question this dramatic testimony that really made zero sense. But another one here, January 6th hearing witness, irate Trump grabbed wheel, demanded to go to Capitol. And then take me up to the Capitol now. How close Trump came to joining the rioters. Guys, when this first came out, I remember thinking that just seems like something out of a TV show. It doesn't seem like something that actually happened in reality. And I think that's another problem. I think people watch this way too much TV, so they think this is actually something that could happen. But, listen, when you see something like this, I mean, right or left, Republican or Democrat, I think you need to go with your gut on this. This just sounded crazy. And apparently it was crazy and it was not true, because this is according to the New York Times. They even reported on this testimony by the limo driver that completely refutes her statement about Trump trying to grab the steering wheel. But it says testimony fleshes out account of Trump's demand to go to Capitol on January 6th. And notice that they don't put in the headline, Donald Trump did not grab steering wheel on January the 6th. No, they don't. They bury that. I wonder why they do that. Why don't they lead with that? They led with this whole very dubious testimony of Trump lunging, this dramatic testimony of Trump lunging to grab the steering wheel and accosting this person. But they do not lead with the fact that the limo driver now has directly refuted that testimony. And right here is a transcript of what the limo driver said. And it says, but the driver said Mr. Trump never lunged for the steering wheel or physically accosted the agents, contradicting the most sensational and hotly disputed elements of testimony given to January 6th committee by a White House aide. The transcript of the driver is the first extensive eyewitness account of what happened in the armored vehicle to be made public. And this is the quote. Quote, I did not see him reach, the Secret Service driver told investigators for the House panel. Quote, he never grabbed the steering wheel. I didn't see him, lunge to try to get into the front seat at all. What stood out was the irritation in his voice more than his physical presence. The driver's transcript add detail to one of the most scrutinized episodes of January 6, 2021. The transcript was never released publicly. I wonder why that never, got disseminated to the public. Once again, we're just being lied to all the time by the January 6th Committee, which entered into an agreement with the Secret Service regarding 12 interviews to avoid disclosing private information for official use only information, intelligence and law enforcement sensitive records, and raw intelligence information. Yeah, so this is one of the things that they thought were sensitive information. It's really odd how every single time, something comes out that might exonerate someone like Donald Trump, someone who's America first, that's sensitive information. That's for law enforcement eyes only. Because I really think we need to inspect, what these people are allowed to divulge or allowed to keep to themselves as sensitive information, are allowed to keep classified, because they are abusing that power, and it's clear right here. But there's more bombshell stuff out of this report about the J6 Committee, and one of those things is Fani Willis, yes, our favorite Fulton County, Georgia DA. Listen to this. Fani Willis conspired with Liz Cheney's faux J6 Committee. J6 Committee shared video recordings with Fani Willis, but then deleted the video rather, to prevent Republican lawmakers from gaining access to it. Oh, wow. That's interesting. But Chairman Barry Loudermilk released his January 6 initial findings report on Monday, March 11th. Representative Loudermilk is the Committee on House Administration's Subcommittee on Oversight Chairman. Quote, for nearly 2 years, former Speaker Nancy Pelosi's January 6 Select Committee promoted hearsay and cherry-picked information to promote its political goal to legislatively prosecute former President Donald Trump, said Chairman Loudermilk on Monday. Quote, it was no surprise that the Select Committee's final report focused primarily on former President Trump and his supporters, not the security failures and reforms needed to ensure the United States Capitol is safer today than in 2021. Quote, the American people deserve the entire truth about what caused the violent breach at the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021. It is unfortunate the Select Committee succumbed to their political inclinations and chased false narratives instead of providing the important work of a genuine investigation. In my committee's investigation, it is my objective to uncover the facts about January the 6th without political bias or spin. My report today is just the beginning, Loudermilk concluded. But the report was filled with several nuggets of information refuting Liz Cheney's notoriously dishonest and partisan report that Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats released. Representative Loudermilk discovered that the J6 Select Committee hid exonerating evidence of President Trump's push for the National Guard at the U.S. Capitol on January the 6th. Trump's requests were rejected by Nancy Pelosi, D.C. Mayor Bowser, and the Capitol Police. Yet they want to paint Donald Trump as this raging lunatic insurrectionist who lunges at the steering wheel of a limo. This is a complete lie. They are just totally lying to the American people. Representative Loudermilk also discovered that President Trump's motorcade driver, this is what we just talked about, blew up J6 superstar witness Cassidy Hutchinson, who lied through her teeth about Trump grabbing the steering wheel of the beast, this is the limo, and assaulting a Secret Service agent. Her entire story was completely false, yet the mainstream media was never, ever corrected, or has never, ever corrected their reporting on this disgusting lie. And I just showed you that article by the New York Times. They did an article on this, but compare and contrast the headlines of when Hutchinson made her testimony compared to now when they realize that that testimony is false. We all know that 99% of people don't get into the article itself. They just read the headline pretty much. And they form their entire opinions based off of the headline. If it were a true correction, they would have at least put the fact that the limo driver has refuted this in the headline. But they don't do that. They don't do that at all. And in the report, there is evidence that Fulton County, Georgia, Fani Willis met with the illicit committee and she participated in numerous calls with the sham committee. The J6 committee even shared video recordings with Fani Willis's office, but deleted the recordings to prevent Republican lawmakers from gaining access to it. Wow. This information was published on pages 49 and 50 of the report. And this is from the report right here. Quote, Political also reported that Fani Willis's staff met with the Select Committee in April 2022 and participated in multiple phone calls with the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. The same video recordings that the Fulton County District Attorney requested were never archived by the Select Committee. So Fani Willis's office has these secret videos that were not archived by the Select Committee. So I wonder what those videos are. Do they exonerate Donald Trump? Did they paint him in a good light? If I were to guess, I would say yes, probably, because those are the things that they keep suppressed. But it goes on, although no additional communications between the Select Committee and the Fulton County District Attorney's Office were archived by the Select Committee, the prospect of the Select Committee sharing video recordings of witness interviews with Willis, but not this subcommittee, remains particularly concerning. The subcommittee has opened an investigation into the extent of the coordination between Willis and the Select Committee and is committed to uncovering answers to these questions. And here are some screenshots from the report that show the references that they're using. So it says, during this initial review of records archived by the Select Committee, the subcommittee discovered a letter from Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis to the Select Committee. And then right here, dated December 17, 2021, in this letter, Willis requested access to any Select Committee records relevant to her investigation into President Trump's actions to challenge the 2020 presidential election, including recordings and transcripts of witness interviews and depositions, electronic and print records of communications, and records of travel. Based on the public reporting, the Select Committee shared important records with Willis and the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. According to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the Select Committee provided Fulton County prosecutors key evidence about what former President Trump and his top advisors knew with respect to Georgia's 2020 election results. Politico also reported that Fani Willis' staff met with the Select Committee in April 2022, participated in multiple phone calls with the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. The same video recordings that the Fulton County District Attorney requested were never archived by the Select Committee. Very interesting. But this is not the first time Liz Cheney's committee was accused of deleting evidence. The committee deleted numerous video interviews that would have exonerated President Trump. And then there's a link right here to the full findings of the report. It is 81 pages, so I'm happy to read an article about it. And I'm sure you are too, because going through these reports, it's a lot of stuff. So just kind of getting an overview on it is a lot better, I think. But what do you guys think about this? Man, this stuff is crazy to me. Everything is just coming out in the open. And the fact that these people can just outright lie to the American people is very concerning. I mean, I don't even know what to think about. I don't even know what to do about this. You know? How are they allowed to just lie to you? There should be criminal charges to these people. Criminal charges, hard time. I believe this. Because this stuff is going on and on and on and on. And it keeps happening over and over. A lot of people know that they're being lied to. But there are a lot of people also who trust this stuff, that believe people like Liz Cheney and these committees, believe that they are, they're working to get to the bottom and get to the real truth of what happened on that day. But, guys, that is never the case. I'm sorry to be such a bummer, but that is never the case. Well, almost never. There might be a good apple here and there. But let me know what you think down below in the comments. Like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until then, I will see you on the next one.